Welcome to the Weekend Warriors. That's Greg over there.
Hello.
I'm Brett over here. We're going to be playing a little bit of Street Fighter V, and I do mean a little bit. This is going to be kind of a shorter series. I've been friend with Greg for a long time, and while I kept playing fighting games, Greg did not.
I stopped.
You did. You grew up and you left Neverland, and you forgot everything.
It's true. Pretty much when stuff shifted into 3D.
Yeah, you were left behind?
I think so. I think that's when it happened. And that's when consoles started getting really prohibitively expensive.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Or at least we grew up and like our parents stopped buying us consoles and we're like, I can't buy that shit.
Correct.
I understand. But look, me and you, we're the Weekend Warriors now. We are going to be playing a lot of fighting games over here. So I figured it would be a good idea to like bring you up to speed, at least on like the basics of fighting game stuff. This isn't about Street Fighter per se, but I figured it'd be a good way to show Greg some of the stuff, and maybe some of you guys at home maybe need a refresher on like a lot of general fighting game stuff. Maybe you just don't know and you've been wondering, but hopefully this helps you guys out. But we're going to be covering some very basic fighting game topics that are hopefully as universal as possible across a couple of episodes. Also, you're not tripping. The reason this Street Fighter V menu looks so wonky is because we're still currently downloading it on this system. But the most important thing, the training mode does work, so we are good to go.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I appreciate this opportunity to learn the game. Mm-hmm. I will admit that I have been intimidated as the game mechanics have grown more sophisticated over the years. And when I watch bouts at, say, EVO or online, I thought to myself, there's so much going on, it seems impossible for me to try to decipher how to approach it. So
it's funny you mentioned that, because this, in my opinion, is one of the most transparent Street Fighters that there's ever been. Although things may be a little bit more complex with like added systems on top, the underlying engine, there's a lot of stuff that they've done that have, I don't want to use the phrase pared down, but they've simplified things and made things really easy to understand when you're playing the game. They've taken out a lot of things that even me, that made me question, like, what the fuck happened? What just went on? And it's very easy to see. And if you can't see it, I'm here for you.
Those kinds of things were present in previous games, Street Fighter variations of Street Fighter 4 or...
Yeah. And understand, there's still shit here which may make any player scratch their head, but it's just very clear, like, a lot of choices that they made in this game, like, they're trying to help people understand. Look. So I'm letting you guys know, when we were... last time we looked at this character select screen, we didn't have... Or the stage select screen, we didn't have nearly this many stages. So we can actually choose a pretty okay stage to train on. I fucking love this stage, so we're going to choose it.
Great.
Oh, look, more characters! Even with some DLC, as you can see, like, not everybody is here. These characters are being unlocked before our eyes. But doesn't matter, because we're just going to do Ryu on Ryu on Ryu. Look, they don't even have all my costumes in the game and shit. Don't worry, Greg. Greg is over there confused, trying to figure out why he can't select his character.
Correct.
It's because we're in training mode. That's why it's not two-player.
Okay.
Do you want old school Ryu or current Ryu?
Oh, hold on. Let's go through it. Wow. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I haven't seen him in a long time. Sure.
Great. Greg, today, and everybody at home, I probably should have said this like 3 minutes ago. Today we're going to be learning about frames and hitboxes. I feel like this is a very, very basic stuff, but I know a lot of people don't know. A lot of people just don't know about this stuff, or heard about it and don't care because they might be too intimidated. But it's actually really easy once you break it down. Yeah?
Yeah,
You're that guy?
I'd heard about it. I used Hitbox recently, but I didn't really know what I meant.
Let me make you the player control man. Great. So let's see here, my friend. Let's talk about frames, right? Frames are basically how time is counted in these games.
Okay.
So Street Fighter runs at 60 frames per second. Most fighting games worth their salt run at 60 frames per second. But basically what that means is every move can be like its duration, like from the time that I press the button and the move starts to the time where Ryu goes back to 0 is counted in frames, as opposed to like seconds or milliseconds or something.
Got it.
So each move that you do, whether it's a special move or a super or a throw or whatever, has different like phases of the move. There's 3 main phases. There's the startup phase, the active phase, and the recovery phase. You feel me?
Yes. The recovery phase is one in which you are vulnerable.
True, but there's vulnerability throughout.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll explain. So, Greg, you do have control right now, by the way?
I do.
You do. Wonderful, wonderful. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look at one of his animations. What's a nice slow animation on this guy? Oh, you know what? Remember his overhead forward medium punch? For you, I think that's forward triangle. Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah. So, this is a good move to demo because it's very like its startup frames, which is the first thing we're going to talk about, are very clear. So I'm going to stand next to you. I'm going to try and press this button really loud so you can see you can hear and understand the moment that I initiate the move.
Okay.
Versus when Ryu finally gets hit. Listen to this.
Got it.
It's a big gap, right?
Sure.
So startup frames to any move are the frames before the move is capable of hitting the opponent.
Got it.
Every part of the animation that's happening, but that, it's not hitting the opponent. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, that's usually what separates light moves from medium moves from heavy moves. Part of it is like...
heavy moves have more startup frames?
Exactly. So, for example, this light attack of mine, I believe Ryu, if I remember my shit, starts up in 3 or 4. I think it's... I want to say 3? This one is for sure 4. So this starts up in 4 frames. And just so you know, in Street Fighter 5 terms, that's pretty fucking fast.
Got it.
It's not the fastest, but it's pretty fast.
And I'm sorry, how you just happen to know off the top of your head that it starts up in 4?
Yes.
So that's like your reference point.
But using this game's features, this training mode features, we will start to calculate our own startup frames. So startup frames, there's apps and stuff, and I've been playing this game long enough to remember certain startup frames. But startup frames are, you can calculate them using certain tools, and we'll do that.
Got it.
But understand, so this light attack, startup frame of 4.
Wow, okay.
But as opposed to this thing, much slower startup. You feel me?
Sure. And
This
what's
thing
the
even
what's
slower.
the differential there? Like, what is the slower? How many frames is that?
I don't know. I'm guessing this is probably like 9. So like 4 to 9.
Okay. And 4 is about as fast as it gets.
The fastest move in the game, in general, is 3 frames of startup. There are things that start up faster than that, but for the most part, 3.
Which would be a 3 frame?
Normal?
Am I taking us on a tangent?
No, you ask your question. Go ahead. What's your question?
What's a 3 frame startup move?
I think his standing light punch is 3.
Wow.
And if not that, then the Shoryuken surely starts up pretty fast.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Cool. That was a good.
Yeah. Any questions so
I feel
far?
like I absorbed that, so I'm really excited.
You feel like you retained it?
Yeah, I think I did. I may
feel
have.
you. Honestly, like everybody out there too, understand when it comes to these fighting games, remembering what every single move's startup and active and recovery frames are, that shit does not matter. Like, it's not about that. It's just remember about grouping things into piles. Piles of like, starts up fast, safe, unsafe, punishable. You know what I mean? Then you start grouping the moves into that, and then because that's all that matters.
Got it.
So once again, like if you look at the timing of this is much faster versus something like this or something like this. That you can literally see the startup frames. You can chew on them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Then there's active frames. So those are the frames, the parts of the move, usually in the middle, that are actually capable of hitting somebody.
Can I ask one more question about startup frames?
Yeah.
Is another reason why it's useful to have a general sense of what your startup frame cost is per move?
Yeah.
Is it because it's sort of a calculation that you're doing as you're strategizing and choosing which moves to unleash? There are times that call for quicker moves that do less damage.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. The punishment situations are a good example of that. So, for example, like if Ryu has like this move right here, if you block that real quick, block low.
I'm sorry, I can't press back. So my reference point is Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
Super Street Fighter 2. Can I just press back?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Oh man, it's been a while for you.
Okay.
Hold down back so you don't move while you block. Right? So this Hadouken, if spaced correctly, is unpunishable. But like, let's say Ryu does this fireball, right? If you know your shit, if you know that fireball is punishable when it's point blank, and because it's -6, if you know, oh, I have a move that starts up in 6 or less, you can punish that. So for example, after you block this, why don't you just press standing triangle, like standing medium punch, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Let me try that again. I actually wasn't blocking after that. So I'm gonna try and block, okay? Perfect. That's punishable. And you know that like my standing medium punch starts in 5, great. Anything that's like 5 or greater, if I block that, they're taking this for free. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, cool.
And we know that because
that's very helpful.
Yeah. Active frames are the stuff that can actually hit somebody. Usually those frames are like if you were to look at every move in the game and look at its startup frames versus active versus recovery, the startup and the recovery are usually the biggest parts of the move. Active frames are usually very, very tiny.
Sure.
They're very, very tiny.
But doesn't the fact that my throwing that punch
and
it damaged you despite your attempt to block just now, doesn't that have more to do with your recovery frames than it does startup?
Precisely, but we were talking about the startup of your punishment.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
But we'll get there.
So in that particular case, my startup frames were fewer than your recovery frames.
You're nailing it. You are nailing it. But it has nothing to do with my recovery frames. But it's not so much my recovery frames. We'll talk about the other frames after this.
Got it.
There's actually 2 other types of frames after startup, active, and recovery, and we'll talk about those.
Okay.
But active is very easy to understand. It's the stuff that like, if you're standing close enough to your opponent, that's the shit that'll hit you.
Okay.
Recovery frames are very easy to understand as well. Like that's the stuff after the recovery frames are over, and the animation's still going on, but they're not going to hurt anybody.
Got it.
And your opponent, and then like if you're still in the recovery frames, you can't block, you can't do anything. You're in recovery. I'm trying to think of a good example for Ryu, something recovery wise. Oh, you know what's a great example of recovery frames are with Ryu? Here, block this real quick. Block low. Whoops. All of that shit is recovery after the fact. So there's a very brief window. Like this is a good example of a move that has very, very low number of startup frames, a very low number of active frames, but in a lot of recovery frames, which allow you to do that. You understand?
Sure.
And you know the recovery frames because I literally can't do anything as I'm falling. You know?
Got it. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
So let's every move in the game has that. Just about startup, active, and recovery. It all breaks down to that startup, active, recovery. Because I remember when we were young, there was this like phantom concept of moves having priority over other moves. Remember that move? That word priority.
Mm-hmm.
So priority doesn't.
I remember. I don't know if I called it that, but I remember the concept.
Yeah.
There seemed like
that move always beats this move and vice versa, or whatever. Yeah, there is no such thing as priority. It's all a combination of hitboxes and frames. That's all it is. So like we're demystifying this shit, right? So 2 more types of frames. It's not so much types of frames, but it's how your frames can end up in the middle of combat. There's a very useful, let's see if I can find it. I haven't used it in a while. Frame advantage in color, yes. Perfect. There's a very useful feature in this training mode that'll show you on hit or on block or whatever, how many frames of advantage you have.
Wow.
You understand? So you gotta have frames of advantage or frames of disadvantage, right?
Okay.
So let's say I hit you. Let's say I hit you with this move. We're both locked in. I'm locked into my recovery frames. You're locked into your frames of like hit stun, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna recover before you. I'm gonna be able to act before you because I hit you. I earned that. You understand?
Okay.
Which is why I'm blue there and you're red. Red because you're going to be able to act after me. Blue because I'm going to be able to act before you.
I see.
You know the way that we can see that for sure as well? After I hit you, I just want you to hold straight up.
Okay.
Here we go. See how I jumped before you?
Oh, yeah.
So we're both like, the very first frame we can, we're both going to jump. But I do it way before you because I have advantage.
Sure.
Let's try it this way. I want you to block low, and then as soon as you block, hold straight up, okay?
Okay.
So you jump before me.
Oh,
it was subtle.
That's something I've sort of always wondered.
Yeah, what?
I've always wondered if blocking put me at a recovery disadvantage, but it seems like it doesn't at all.
Blocking can put you at a disadvantage depending on the move, because certain moves in the game are either plus on block or minus on block or neutral. If they were neutral, no one has advantage. We would jump at the exact same time. But if it's plus on block like this, will you block? I have so much advantage that if you try to jump after this, bopped. I am so plus that if I can press something else And if you try to do anything besides block, you're going to get hit.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
As
Can you
opposed
throw
to-
that move while I'm blocking and then we both try to jump? Will we jump at the same time or not?
Say that again.
If you throw that move while I'm blocking and then we both try to jump afterwards, will we jump at the same time?
No, because we already did that. That's what we've been doing. Here, block low again. So don't jump real quick. You see how I'm blue?
Yeah.
I want you to look at my box up there. Do you see my little box where it says top left where it says frame?
Yeah.
See how when I hit you it says +1 in the parentheses? That means that I have 1 frame of advantage over you. I'm recovering from this animation 1 frame before you do, which is why
Got it.
I'm gonna jump before you. So let's
Okay.
try it. Now we're gonna jump.
Oh, sorry.
That's
One
okay.
more
We'll try it again. Yeah, I'm jumping before you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want to see what's neutral. Will you keep blocking? He's got to have something neutral. Maybe not. Oh, wait. No. Doesn't matter. But you get the concept of neutrality, right?
I do.
What's most important is minus or plus, right?
Right. I imagine much has been written about the woman in the green shirt.
Oh, that's loose.
She has a name. Given to her by the gamers or
No,
the
by me,
community?
goddammit. That's loose.
Oh.
So I want you to try. So let's
Okay.
cycle through Ryu's moves. I want you to try them, and the game is going to show you whether they're plus or not. So go ahead and hit me. Just jab. So yeah, that's plus.
Wait a second.
Take your time.
You said plus because it says +4 on the right?
Well, even simple. I'm just looking at your body. You're flashing
You're
blue right now.
Okay. Oh, shit.
So look at that. Do it again. Light kick is minus on hit. Do it again.
So that's rare.
Not necessarily, but it should show you something about the move. Most moves in this game and most fighting games, if you hit, you're going to be plus. That makes sense. You successfully hit somebody, you should get a reward. This is minus on hit, which should tell you something. If a move is minus on hit, that probably means it's very good. You know what I mean?
At what? Because it's not
Exactly.
doing a lot of damage.
Exactly. It's not doing a lot of damage. We know what this move is. It's long and it's quick. And it's cancelable.
Got it.
And those are the things you have to start asking. Questions you have to start asking when you analyze a new character. But that's for another day.
Wonderful. Okay, I always knew there was a special value to a weak kick.
Yeah.
Or a light kick in this case. And so so when you say cancelable, that's another concept that I've always.
Yeah, don't worry about that. The point is, the reason this move is minus, we'll get there.
Okay.
The reason this move is minus is because it's good. But other moves might be minus for another reason.
Okay.
You understand?
Sure.
Keep cycling through your moves. Try a medium kick.
Now, well, before we move, because now if I see somebody throwing a light kick my way, and I know that it's minus, how can I punish them for that? Am I intended to look out for that and punish for that?
Well, it depends. We have to understand you can't punish that light kick, but we'll explain why in a second. First, I want you to keep cycling through the moves.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. All right. So that was my light kick. I did the punches already.
Yeah, medium.
Here, medium kick.
It's plus on hit. Yeah.
Okay, and then I have boom.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah.
Try
So
the
I
heavy kick?
did flash red on startup. I wonder if that's the case for all of these.
You're flashing red on startup because technically I'm not putting a hit stun at all when you're whiffing. So, of course, you're minus because you're recovering and I'm not.
Got it.
Why don't you try heavy kick?
Heavy kick. Okay.
Yeah. Everything's plus except light kick. Makes sense. I just want to put that in your head. Like, look at all that stuff that you're plus. But now I want you to try the same things on block and see what happens. Oh, I'll stand.
You don't have to stand. No, you don't.
Okay,
have
you
to
can try
stand.
the crouching one. That's fine. Very minus. Very minus. Try some other
Minus
moves.
11. It says.
Yeah, that's huge.
Minus 10.
Is that minus 10? Try
And
it.
that's 10 frames.
Yep. So I recover 10 frames before you do if I block that.
My goodness.
Try something else.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I didn't
okay.
even know what I was doing there.
Yeah, just do different normals.
That's not so bad.
Do it again. Yeah, you're plus. See that? Try a crouching medium punch.
Wow. Crouching medium punch. Oh, hold on.
It's fine. That's light. What are you? How plus are you on that? 2?
2.
Pretty good. So I want you to understand that. Just because something is blocked doesn't mean that it's minus for you. Could be plus, which means that even if your opponent blocks it, you get to keep up your pressure. Like I did with this move. Remember? Like I did it twice and I got to hit you when you tried to jump out of it.
Uh-huh.
So understand that. So there's things, there's advantage on block and disadvantage on block, and different moves have different properties like that. So it's good to know. Like, let's say, for example, a move is very, very, slow, and you're like, fuck, this move is slow, I'm not going to hit anybody. But then let's say it's very good on block, like it's +3 on block. You're like, oh man, now I understand. Like, I want to do this while someone's waking up, maybe like this off the ground. And then while they wake up, I put that there so that, like, if they get hit, great, I can transition. And if they don't, it's still very much your turn, if you will. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So we went through all those different types of frames. There's startup, active, recovery. And then there's frames on advantage, whether when you hit or when you throw something out and hit somebody or they block it, how advantageous is it on hit? Or the fifth type, disadvantageous, depending. Does that make sense?
It does.
Any questions so far about this stuff?
Well, I'm trying to translate this into implementable rules that I can keep in my head, and I wonder if, is it as simple as saying that if somebody's crouch blocking that I should rather throw a punch than a kick? Because it's not that simple.
No. The simple thing that you should be looking for here, and people that you at home should be taking away as well, is that every move in every fighting game works this way. Everything has startup, active, recovery, advantage, and disadvantage. You feel me?
Yeah.
Some things have infinite advantage, and that's when the game gives you, it just usually will list and like framed at a D. That's for knock or a K, like it's for like knockdown or down. Because like the frame advantage I have, and this situation is so goddamn large, they're like, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Does that make sense to you?
It does. Now, whether or not I can sprinkle that into my algorithm of decision making in a match,
Sprinkle what?
all of this information, that's going to take some time.
Once again, you're not expected to. Yeah. And no one at home is expected to either. It's not about being able to use this shit. Like, if you're at home being like, reuse medium punches +7 on hit, like that's not the point. The point is, you go home, and if you're not aware of this stuff, you experiment and find out what your character, like what their shit is. And if you are aware of this shit already, it might be a good time to refresh yourself. And I'm not kidding here, man. I'm not pulling your leg. I like play certain characters in this game, but I neglect training mode sometimes because I get so busy and I forget certain shit. And I go, what the fuck is Alex's medium kick again on a hit? Like, oh, right, this thing. And then you come back to it with fresh eyes. You refresh yourself on those basics, and you go, oh, wow, wait, if that's this, then maybe I can do this. And then all of a sudden, you're learning new things with your own character you've been playing forever.
Very cool.
It's important to always go back to basics. Fuck, I had one more thing to say about frames, and now I forgot what it is. So we can talk about hitboxes real quick.
Okay.
So the hitboxes are basically the invisible representations of the boundaries of hit effects, right?
Yep.
So hitboxes have to do with active frames. Right? So there's and also don't make the mistake. There's hitboxes and hurtboxes, right? So hitboxes are the things that we were just talking about. Hitboxes occur during active frames.
So it's the space around the character which do harm if you touch it?
Correct. And the hurtboxes are the ever-present, always there invisible boxes that are able to be hurt if a hitbox touches them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. That's basically it. So I just want to point out that they exist because, as you can see, technically my foot is touching your foot, you're taking no damage.
Isn't that interesting?
A lot of people get really put off by that, but I don't, because I understand that hitboxes are a thing. And hurtboxes are a thing too. And just because it looks like it's overlapping, that doesn't matter. Like, what's really going on here under the surface, like if you were to like flip a switch and turn all of this really good looking shit off, and it was just a bunch of hitboxes on screen, then you would see what's really going on.
And it's not just that Capcom forgot to make that foot vulnerable. It's that they have designed the game in such a way that they don't think that that distance should do harm.
Precisely. Yeah, hitboxes and hurtboxes, and there's all different kinds. So like certain people have like hitboxes right here, like where Ryu's standing, but their throwable box, which is different, might be shorter or further in, or further out rather. Also, when you perform certain moves like this, your hitbox or hurtbox can shrink or expand. So why don't you just try throwing? Will you press the two light buttons at the same time?
The two light buttons, sure.
Yeah, press them same time. Great. As you step forward, keep doing it. Keep doing it. Great. All right, don't press anything. Okay, now do the throw. Keep doing it. That one doesn't expand him. But I bet if you pressed light kick, try it. Makes sense. So, yeah. So certain things will expand your hitboxes or hurtboxes. Your light kick beat mine because of the fact that, like, my hitbox, like your hurt box when you did the light kick. Keep doing light kick. Your hurt box was, I guess, avoiding my hitbox. That's all there is to it. Or the frames didn't line up right, like the active frames. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Any questions about hitboxes and hurt boxes?
No.
Okay. Same thing goes for throws. Whoops. Same thing goes for throws. If you like stand right here. Oh, don't move real quick.
Oh.
So right there, it looks like I'm grabbing you. I'm like really touching you.
That is frustrating to me.
Why?
He seems quite close.
Yeah, but you just have to understand, like, Ryu's ranges if you're gonna play Ryu, you know?
You gotta basically be running against them. It worked the same way in the old Street Fighter games, too.
It did. Or some characters are stupid, like Geef can throw somebody from right here. You know what I mean? I'm not lying. I'm not lying. That's not even an exaggeration.
Sure.
It's all hitbox and hurtbox. You just have to know that they exist, and that's how they work.
Gotcha.
I think I remembered something about this game. In the frames, by the way. So the magic number for this game is -2. If you do a move that's disadvantageous on block. So here, do me a favor real quick.
Yeah.
Block low. See how that's -11?
Yeah.
That means you can basically punish with any of your moves because they all start up faster than that, right?
Oh.
You can do anything. It's which means it's very, very punishable.
Sure.
You block this, I get hit for free as long as you're doing your job.
Okay.
Then there are certain things that are minus, but unpunishable. For example, that light kick, see how that's -2?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do that can punish me. Even though it's minus, you can't hurt me as long as I block right after.
Because there's no startup cost that light.
Exactly. There's nothing that's startup of 2. A couple characters have some weird shit, but for the most part, the magic number of this game is -2. So a good question.
So that's very interesting because you were saying earlier that light kick is the only one that has
disadvantage on hit.
Disadvantage on hit is how you would say it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yet not really because it has such a light startup that it's difficult to punish.
As such a light recovery. Yeah, it is difficult to punish. But like it's still important to know that it's minus. Because let me put it this way. Block low, if I'm trying to put pressure on you, I can put pressure with this light punch, which is +2. And I want you to like try and work your way out of this. Try and hit me in between. Like try and regain your shit by hitting me. Uh-oh, try again. Hold on. Anytime. So you're fucking me up right now, dude. You're not displaying my lesson right.
Oh.
No, I just want you to like mash light punch is what I'm saying. When
mash light punch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got me. I see. You're waiting for me to be out. I see what you're saying. Try it again. There you go. That's the point.
Got it.
But I'm gonna do the same thing with light kick. So let's try it. Same thing. You win that time. All right, try again. See how you win?
Uh-huh.
Because I'm at a disadvantage, I try my move again, but you technically have advantage. If I have disadvantage, you have advantage.
Got it. Okay.
Let's try it again with light punch. Oh, you missed your cue. Hold on. There it is. See how you got counter hit?
Yeah.
That's the point. And then remember, that only works in that situation because the reason you were hitting me is because you were waiting until I got pushed out. But this move doesn't reach very far. But if I use something different, for example, try after the first hit, try and do the same thing you're doing. Whoop, one more time. Yeah, so that reaches further. It's going to be a little bit tougher.
Gotcha.
Let's try this. Yeah. So that's why it's important to know that stuff. So there's 3 different states of advantage. There's like plus on block, which is good for you. Minus on block, which
on
is...
On block, meaning my opponent is blocking.
Precisely.
Got you.
So there's plus on block, minus on block, which would be an example of that would be this if you blocked it. Actually, it's not even on block. It's like there's plus, whether on hit or on block, minus on hit or on block, and then punishable. Because something can be minus without being punishable, aka this. But if it's punishable, watch the fuck out. That make sense?
Yep.
Great. I think that about covers it. That's like a very basic tutorial on frames, hitboxes, and stuff like that. Any questions before we bounce?
No, that was exciting. We covered a lot of ground.
Hopefully there'll be more stages to choose from next time we fucking do more of this. Don't worry, the lessons are going to continue. Let us know if you guys have any questions or suggestions for things you want us to go over. Like I said, this series won't last too long. We're just trying to get Greg up to snuff and hopefully let you guys help you guys get up to snuff too. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you for another episode.
See you then.
Bye-bye.